When people first hear about twin flames, it almost sounds like a dream come true. The idea that there's someone out there who mirrors your soul, who understands you without words, who feels like home, even when you barely know them, it's powerful. For many, the thought of meeting their twin flame sparks this deep yearning to be with them right away. And when that connection actually happens, it can be so intense, so electrifying that the natural instinct is to want union immediately. But here's the truth that can be hard to accept. Twin flames cannot reunite too soon. It's not because the universe is cruel, or because one of you doesn't care enough, or because life has some strange rulebook. It's because reunion before the right time would not only fail, but it could damage both of you in ways that slow the whole journey down. Reunion between twin flames is sacred. It is designed to happen at a point where both individuals have grown into the kind of people who can actually hold that connection without falling apart. This isn't just about romance. It's about spiritual evolution, healing, breaking cycles, and stepping into a version of yourself that maybe you didn't even think was possible. If you and your twin flame came together too early, before that foundation is ready, the fire between you would burn uncontrolled. It would overwhelm, confuse, and even break apart the bond. And that's why separation happens, why delays show up, and why the universe seems to constantly nudge you back toward your own healing first. So let's walk through the real reasons why twin flames can't reunite too soon. Number 1, healing old wounds. One of the biggest reasons twin flames can't reunite too soon is because both carry unhealed wounds. These wounds don't come out of nowhere. They come from childhood experiences, past relationships, past betrayals, and sometimes even past life patterns. You and your twin flame mirror each other, so when you're in each other's presence, those wounds get triggered in the most intense way possible. Think of it like this. If you have unresolved abandonment issues and your twin flame pulls away, it's going to hit you harder than anyone else ever could. If you carry deep self-doubt and they look at you in a certain way, you might immediately feel exposed. It's not that they're trying to hurt you, it's that their soul is holding up a mirror to yours. Every piece of yourself that you've tried to hide gets reflected right back at you. Now imagine coming together permanently without healing those wounds. Every little trigger would become a battle. Every disagreement would feel like the end of the world. The bond would be so heavy with pain that instead of growing together, you'd start tearing each other down. That's why healing has to come first. Healing means being able to recognize when you're triggered and not taking it out on the other person. It means being able to sit with your pain, understand it, and move through it instead of projecting it. It means becoming aware of your patterns, whether that's clinging, running, shutting down, or lashing out, and finding healthier ways to respond. A big part of healing also involves learning to give yourself what you expect from the other. If you're always hoping your twin flame will soothe your insecurities, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. They can love you, yes, but they cannot fix the hole inside you. Only you can do that. And when you start filling that space with your own self-awareness and compassion, you stop leaning on them in unhealthy ways. So the universe keeps you apart until you've done enough of this inner work to handle the intensity. Healing doesn't mean being perfect. It just means reaching a point where you're not constantly bleeding on each other. Because when the two of you come together, you're meant to lift each other higher, not reopen every wound. Number 2, learning self-love. Another major reason reunion can't happen too early is because self-love hasn't been fully built yet. Self-love is not just about bubble baths or treating yourself to nice things. It's about truly knowing your worth, setting healthy boundaries, and refusing to abandon yourself for the sake of keeping someone else close. When you don't have self-love, you're likely to become dependent on your twin flame for validation. You'll look to them to tell you you're good enough, beautiful enough, lovable enough. And while that may work for a moment, it will always crumble because no one outside of you can fill that role consistently. Your twin flame can affirm you, but if you don't believe it deep down, you'll constantly feel insecure. Self-love also means being okay on your own. It doesn't mean you don't want union. It just means you're not desperate for it. You know you're whole already, and the connection is an addition, not a completion. That's the space where reunion can thrive. Because if you come into union feeling half empty, you'll expect your twin to fill that emptiness, and that's not their job. Think about how draining it would be with someone who constantly needs you to reassure them, to fix them, to make them feel alive. Over time, it wears on the bond. The same would happen if you place that weight on your twin. But when both of you have developed a strong sense of self-love, you meet each other as equals. You share love, rather than needing it like air to breathe. This is also why many twin flame journeys involve periods of solitude. The separation forces you to face yourself. It strips away distractions, so you can learn to sit with your own company, to treat yourself kindly, and to stop running from your own reflection. And as hard as that feels, it's one of the greatest gifts this journey gives. Because the day you truly love yourself, you realize you're no longer chasing or clinging, you're attracting. And that shift changes everything. Number 3, balancing energies. Twin flame connections are built on energy. Each of you carries a certain energy dynamic, often described as divine masculine and divine feminine, though these are not about gender. They're about qualities. The masculine energy is about action, direction, focus, and structure. The feminine energy is about intuition, flow, nurturing, and creativity. When these energies are out of balance, whether in yourself or between the two of you, reunion can't stick. For example, if one of you is too heavily in the masculine, there may be control issues, impatience, or rigidity. If one of you is too heavily in the feminine, there may be passivity, lack of boundaries, or avoidance of responsibility. Union requires balance, both within each individual and between the pair. You're meant to complement each other, not clash. But if you meet too soon, those imbalances are magnified. One of you may end up overgiving while the other pulls away, or one may try to dominate while the other resists. The connection becomes a battlefield rather than a partnership. Balancing energy starts within. If you're naturally more nurturing and intuitive, you may need to work on developing structure and boundaries. If you're naturally more driven and logical, you may need to open up to vulnerability and trust. When each of you brings balance within yourselves, you're able to bring balance to the relationship. The universe knows this. That's why union doesn't happen until both of you have started to even out those extremes. It doesn't mean you have to be perfectly balanced all the time. That's not realistic. But you need to have enough awareness to catch yourself when you're leaning too far in one direction and to shift before it damages the bond. This is also why twin flames often go through periods where their lives seem to push them into the opposite energy. For example, someone overly masculine might face situations that force them to slow down and surrender. Someone overly feminine might face situations that demand them to take action and claim their power. These experiences are not punishments, they're training grounds. They're preparing you both to stand side by side without collapsing into old patterns. Number 4, clearing karmic lessons. Another big reason twin flames can't reunite too soon is because karmic lessons are still in play. Karma in this context doesn't just mean punishment or reward. It means unfinished business. It's the patterns you repeat until you learn from them, the cycles you keep running in until you finally break free. Before you and your twin flame can come together in harmony, those karmic lessons need to be worked through. That's why so many people encounter what are often called karmic partners along their journey. These relationships may feel frustrating, heavy, or even toxic, but they serve an important purpose. They highlight your blind spots. They show you what you need to heal and what boundaries you need to set. If you skipped this step and jumped straight into union, you'd bring all those unresolved cycles with you. Imagine trying to build a house on top of old rubble. The foundation would be unstable, and sooner or later it would collapse. The karmic work is about clearing away that rubble, so when you do build with your twin, it's on solid ground. Karmic lessons often revolve around self-worth, forgiveness, attachment, and power dynamics. For example, you may need to learn how to walk away from someone who doesn't treat you with respect. Or you may need to learn how to forgive, not to excuse what happened, but to release yourself from the weight of it. Sometimes, the lesson is learning how to stop giving your power away. And here's the tricky part. These lessons aren't learned overnight. They often repeat until you really get them. That's why the universe doesn't let you rush into union. It knows if you haven't fully integrated these lessons, you'll just repeat them with your twin flame, and the stakes there are much higher. So instead of seeing karmic experiences as detours, it helps to see them as preparation. Every painful situation, every heartbreak, every tough choice, it's all teaching you something that will help you hold your twin flame connection with more wisdom, more strength, and more compassion. Number 5, letting go of control. Another reason reunion can't happen too soon is because control is still in the way. When you first feel the power of a twin flame connection, the natural reaction is to want to grab onto it and never let go. You may want to control the timing, the outcome, the way it unfolds. You might find yourself obsessing over when they'll reach out, what they're thinking, or how you can push things forward. But here's the thing. Twin flame journeys don't respond to control. The more you try to force union, the more it slips out of your hands. That's because the connection is meant to be surrendered into, not micromanaged. The universe uses this connection to teach you trust. Trust in divine timing, trust in yourself, and trust in the process. If union happened too early, you'd likely try to manage it into fitting your expectations. You'd want it to look a certain way, to move at a certain pace, to unfold in a way that makes sense to your human mind. But the twin flame journey doesn't operate like a regular relationship. It asks you to let go of your ego's grip and allow the bond to develop naturally. Letting go of control doesn't mean being passive or doing nothing. It means shifting your focus back onto yourself. Instead of trying to control what your twin does, you focus on your own healing, your own growth, your own alignment. Ironically, it's when you stop chasing and controlling that the connection starts moving again. This is why separation is so common. The space apart forces you to release control. It teaches you patience. It helps you recognize that the bond is unbreakable, even if you're not physically together right now. And once you've learned to stand strong in that trust, reunion becomes possible. Number 6, aligning with divine timing. This is one of the hardest lessons to accept. Reunion happens according to divine timing, not personal preference. We live in a culture that prizes instant gratification. If we want something, we want it now. But the twin flame journey doesn't bend to that mindset. Divine timing means there is a bigger picture at play. Maybe your twin flame needs to finish certain lessons before they can meet you halfway. Maybe you need to step into a different version of yourself first. Maybe the timing needs to align with opportunities, locations, or life events you can't see yet. If reunion happened too soon, it would interrupt the natural unfolding of this bigger plan. It would cut the journey short before both of you are truly ready. Think of it like pulling a cake out of the oven before it's baked. It won't hold together. Divine timing ensures that when you do reunite, it's sustainable. One of the best ways to work with divine timing is to shift your focus from when to how. Instead of asking, when will union happen, ask, how can I prepare myself right now? That way, you stay present, engaged, and aligned with what you actually can control. Another part of divine timing is that reunion often happens when you least expect it. When you've stopped clinging, when you're focused on living your life fully, when you found peace within yourself, that's often when the door opens. Not because you don't care anymore, but because you've reached the level of alignment that allows it. Number 7, growing spiritually. The twin flame journey is ultimately about spiritual growth. Yes, it involves love, passion, and connection, but underneath all of that, it's about awakening. If reunion happened too soon, that awakening would be cut short. You'd settle into comfort instead of transformation. Spiritual growth means learning to see beyond the surface. It means moving past ego-driven desires and stepping into soul-centered living. This involves practices like mindfulness, meditation, shadow work, and developing deeper compassion for yourself and others. It's about raising your vibration so you can meet your twin flame at a higher level. The connection itself pushes you toward this growth. Every trigger, every separation, every synchronicity, it all nudges you to expand your awareness. And until you've reached a certain level of growth, reunion can't hold. If you came together too soon, the old patterns would take over, and you'd lose the spiritual purpose behind it. This is why so many twin flames report a spiritual awakening around the time they meet. It's like the connection flips a switch. Suddenly, you start questioning your old ways of living. You start seeking deeper meaning. You start feeling drawn to practices that nurture your soul. The universe delays reunion, not to frustrate you, but to give you the space to grow. Because when you've reached that level of inner maturity, the love you share isn't just about the two of you anymore. It radiates outward. It uplifts the people around you. It inspires others to grow too. That's the bigger purpose of twin flame union. So why can't twin flames reunite too soon? Because the bond is too sacred to be rushed. Reunion is not just about finally being with the person who feels like home. It's about stepping into a higher version of yourself, so that when you do come together, you can hold the love without breaking under it. The delays, the separations, the challenges, they're not punishments, they're preparation. Healing old wounds ensures you don't bleed on each other. Learning self-love makes sure you don't depend on the other for your worth. Balancing energies keeps the connection harmonious instead of chaotic. Clearing karmic lessons breaks the cycles that would otherwise sabotage you. Letting go of control teaches you trust. Aligning with divine timing ensures reunion happens when it can truly last. Growing spiritually lifts the bond into something greater than romance. And becoming whole individually means you come together as equals, not as halves. When you look at it this way, you see that the waiting is not wasted time. Every step you take toward your own growth is a step toward reunion. Every layer of healing, every lesson learned, every moment of surrender, it's all building the foundation for something unshakable. So if you're on this journey and feeling the ache of separation, know this. It's not because you're failing. It's not because the connection isn't real. It's because the love between twin flames is too powerful to be mishandled. The universe is making sure you both are ready, truly ready, so that when the reunion happens, it won't just be a fleeting moment. It will be the beginning of a lasting union. And when that day comes, you'll see that the waiting was worth it. You'll see that every challenge was shaping you. You'll see that the timing was perfect all along.